What's up, YouTube? This is Lord Zath bringing you another episode of Zath's Replay Theater. And this is a little bit of a regular, I guess you could say, to our channel. This is Fishrokk bringing us a battle in the Shchors again. You may recall he submitted a battle in the Shchors prior, and it was kind of a bit of a yawner for quite a bit of time. We saw him not being very effective with the ship, and later getting into some good damage. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here in this Tier 7 Russian OP balanced cruiser, whatever you want to call it. So for those of you guys who are unfamiliar with this ship, Shchors has really good guns. These are 152 millimeter guns, I want to say, and they have very high muzzle velocity, which means that it's very easy to hit things accurately from a distance. And I think that's going to possibly come into play here. You can see that Fishrokk is very lucky in the sense that he's in a Tier 7 top tier battle. So there are Tier 5s in here and Tier 6s. Interestingly enough, there are 2 carriers. This is one thing to keep in mind when you're looking at playing a ship like the Shchors. I'm just going to switch to this for a sec. Look at how long the ship is. This ship is so easy for an aircraft carrier with torpedo bombers to strike. It's just incredibly easy. So, you know, I know you don't see a lot of carriers in the game, but it might be more worth it to switch this to defensive fire instead of hydroacoustic surge. And you could just run the regular defensive fire if you want, or, you know, to save 22,500 credits. It's up to you, but I think that honestly it's probably going to be more useful than hydro. Hydro's got its uses too, of course. Now we see what Fishrokk is doing here. He's staying behind this island, and I think he's looking to fire up and over the island at things. You can see here he shot, but he did not get spotted because nothing else is within range. There is something that's in C though, so I almost wonder if it's like kind of behind this big island there. But the problem with the position that Fish was in originally is you can really only fire into B, maybe into C if you back up more, because it doesn't protect you from view over here. So that's definitely a consideration, something to keep in mind. And the other thing is, you see that Fish has a premium scout plane, and Saipan is detected in Bayern. You could probably launch your scout plane and send it over there and maybe do some hits on the Bayern there. Your Saipan, by the way, is running air superiority, which is cool. It's 3 fighters and 1 massive dive bomber loadout. Personally, I loved doing that, especially before strafing occurred. The idea of strafing out of a fighter lock, I should say. Because then I would just drop my bombs on destroyers. I called them judgment bombs because those things will take out a ton of destroyer health. You might have seen over B that Fusion or whatever lost like 1/4 to 1/3 of its health with 1 bomb drop, which is, you know, pretty impactful. Now, one thing that I would recommend, especially with you being outfitted for hydro, and the fact that the carrier is basically, you know, investing a good amount of air assets to spot that Minikaze and the Minikaze's torpedoes, I'd probably be a little bit closer. I'd maybe even get into the cap. I don't know. You've got the hydro, you've got the ability to detect torpedoes and all that kind of stuff. That being said, this ship, you know, you're not doing a bad thing by staying farther back, because it can take a lot of damage very easily because it's got such a large citadel. The Bayern is a huge threat to you right now. So, you know, that makes sense. Now you're firing a lot of AP. AP is incredibly strong against enemy cruisers that have weakest armor, kind of like the Kirov here that you're shooting at. If you have, I don't know if you have IFHE or not, but if you do, it might be worth considering firing more IFHE, especially at targets that are somewhat angled towards you. This Kirov, by the way, is giving you a lot of broadside, but you're aiming too low. You see your shells keep on missing there, and you need to. There you go. You need to get in the habit of aiming higher. Triple Citadel, engine gone. Nice job there. And he's probably going to keep turning around. Now is when you want to switch to HE if you're looking to keep shooting this Kirov. Gunnery suggestion for you. When I know I'm shooting at a target that's obviously looking at me, if it's a cruiser and I'm looking to pen, there's two different possibilities that this cruiser is gonna make, right? One is that cruiser, well, of course they can always drive straight, but if they're looking at you, they're probably gonna try to do something to react as soon as they see that you're shooting at them. Most cruisers will turn away from you, right? And a few will actually turn in towards you, try to get under your guns. So if I were you, I would recommend lapping people in the Citadel. Anyway, I would recommend thinking about what's that cruiser going to do to try to dodge. In the Kirov's case, you saw he was angled towards you a little bit and then went broadside, so that should have been a clear indicator that Kirov was turning away. So maybe just learning to lead a little bit more. Here's a great opportunity now to use your scout plane. It brings your view up so you can see where the Saipan is. You're not using that. Instead, you're using your torpedo indicator, which still is pretty useful. For those of you guys who don't know, the Shchors' torpedoes are incredibly short range. They're like 4 kilometer. So they're mainly used as weapons to blat people in the face when you just want to make a YOLO charge and sink everything for the motherland. But the other thing is that they have the ability, when you switch to it, it gives you that indicator so you know the lead of the ship. And if you switch to it, it comes in really handy because you can tell if the ship is accelerating or slowing down. Like right now, I'd have my lead indicator on, and I'd be looking at how I'm going to set up my shot on the Saipan. Now you switch to AP, which I guess is kind of good timing because there's the Fiji. And, of course, everybody else is shooting the carrier because, oh my god, carrier. That salvo I would not have taken. I probably would have shot the Saipan instead. And now you're shooting the Saipan, but it's probably too late because everybody else is shooting the carrier too. Yep. And now the Fiji is angled in, but the problem with the Fiji is he can't angle the Scharnhorst, he can't angle the Fuso at the same time. And he took some hits there. Now, he's also opening up to you, but he's slowing down. So you need to be looking more centric. Are you going to get? Nope. See, he's a little bit too angled there. IFHE might have been a better choice, but it doesn't matter. He still goes down. At this point, you guys have won that flank, and boy, have they lost a lot of ships. I'm gonna pause it right here for a second. Let's take a look at the mini map. All right. Remember I said the Shchors isn't great for charging in the front line, and we kind of see here that he's kind of doing that now. The battleships haven't moved in, but there's 2 destroyers here, and we know what those destroyers want to do, right? They want to cap. They want to get into B. Now, what's over there that can possibly threaten them? There's the Cleveland. And there's the Ohot Nikolai. I call it the Ohot Nikolai, but it's Ohotnik or whatever. Also called the gun canoe. He's probably, the way he's moving last known, probably going to be over here, right? Covering the B cap from these destroyers that might try to go in. So you're probably thinking, I want to support the team. I want to hit this Cleveland. The problem is the Colorado and Nagato. Oh my god, those things will wipe you out in seconds if they decide they want to. So you need to be watching these 2 guys really carefully. The smart play here would be to kind of peter off and go north there. Okay, because what that does is that allows you to still shoot the Cleveland. I mean, look at your gun arcs. You've got amazing range. You can still shoot the Cleveland, and if these battleships decide to shoot you, you can angle away from them, or you can angle in towards them if you want to. So what I would do at this point is I would sail north like this, and then I'd come around the island. All the while shooting at, if the Cleveland, if you want to support the destroyers, that would be a really good idea. The nice thing is you've got a Scharnhorst right here. And that Shchors is going to threaten both the Colorado and the Nagato, and probably going to pull their attention for a while, maybe even the Congo. So that's kind of nice, in that, you know, he's going to take one for the team, pretty much. The Saipan is being smart and running. Your Emerald, of course, is AFK, so rip that person. And the Shchors here is way out of position, and it's going to take a while to get back into the fight. Fuso and October Revolution are going to keep doing what they're doing. Rafshpe, he's doing the right thing too by kind of being farther behind. So, for the most part, good positioning. Your ship is also, remember I said it's a very long ship? The turning radius isn't that great. So going into B cap is a very risky maneuver because with all these islands in the B cap, it's very easy for you to beach. So let's see what you do here. Okay, so it looks like you've decided to support your destroyers, which makes perfect sense. But you're turning in, and like I said, I don't think that's a good idea. But we'll see how this plays out. I do like though that you're trying to support your team. I think that's really important. You see that Shino no over there, who obviously has been spotted by the Cleveland. I don't know why. I'm guessing maybe he got too greedy and got into visual range, or maybe he just fired some torpedoes. Either way, you are about to pull a not sir. And now you've realized it, and it's probably too late. Yep. See what I mean about turning radius? Ugh. And, oh! Okay, good. Cleveland takes a torpedo to the face. It's definitely going to be flooding. And it's probably going to flood out at this point. So, I do like that you're continuing to shoot him. And, you know, we want to get this guy out as quickly as possible. Gone. There we go. Oh, your Emerald wasn't AFK. It was actually moving. My apologies there. Alright, so here's the deal though. You notice when you were beached, you were completely broadside to that Nagato in Colorado, right? And you got lucky in a sense that they didn't pay attention to you. And it looks like you've switched to AP, Colorado, and look, there's Ohotnik where we thought he would be. Yeah, switching to AP is generally a good idea, especially against broadside battleships. You can notice there, 3 grand salvo is definitely not something to sneeze at. But notice you're not detected right now. And I think that it would be a better idea, if you want to keep doing this, crawl ahead at a quarter speed, if anything. You keep moving out, and then of course you're going to end up detected, as you can see there. Now the Ohotnik is detecting you, but that's okay. You are forcing the Ohotnik to run away, which is good. Now let's take a look at your salvos here. You, nice salvo, but a little bit too far in front. You're hitting the 2 turrets there, and those turrets have a lot of armor, and the barbette too. And you're not gonna be penning as much. Look at all those bounces. See that? 2 shatters and 1 bounce. You need to be recognizing that he's slowing down. Maybe use the torpedo lead indicator trick if you want. But yeah, you definitely need to aim a little bit more towards the center of the ship and a little bit above. Switching to the Ohotnikolai, which makes perfectly sense. Perfectly good sense. And yep, you can see the Scharnhorst has rejoined the rest of the fleet. I do like the general positioning of the fleet. The Saipan, Ganevni are a little bit out of position there. I don't know why the carriers orbiting as fighters within the Nagato's area. And look at this, you're beaching again. Oh god, and you beached in front of the Congo. And he was looking right at you too. Oh no. Pressing F to pay respects. And he overpenned. Whew. That, my friend, is lucky. Oh, Saipan just judged the Nagato. So it's only the Congo left. And so here's something. I would keep backing up. The way the Congo is going, if you kept backing up, you can get to the point where you're shooting over this part of the island, right? And then you just have to crawl forward at a quarter speed to stay concealed behind. It looks to me like you want to get out in front here, and you can do that and fire over the island, but this part of the island. But it's a little bit riskier, right? Because you have to be much more careful with your positioning as a result. Shchors is a very fast ship, and it's very easy to pop right out and be like, "Hey, shoot me!" Which you're doing right now. So, like I said, honestly, I think over time you'll get better at judging when is a good time to kind of sit behind islands and stuff. Look at that, 6 shatters and 1 bounce. Why? Because you're shooting him in the turrets. Don't shoot him in the turrets. Bow hit, 4K, that's better, but shoot for the midsection. Now you're switching to HE. I don't know why you're switching to HE. Maybe you're just not happy with the results you're getting, but he's on 3 or 4 fires. Looks like 4 fires. HE's not going to help much. You're not going to set any more fires. But that's all right. And you can see there. Oh, and once again, the game ends before I have a chance to slow down the game. Overall, I want to say that was a better replay. It was much more exciting to watch, and I hope that you're having a much more exciting time playing the ship as a result. But it was definitely, you're being more aggressive, you're taking more risks, which is good. Just be prepared to be making mistakes and be punished for them. So be constantly thinking about that, right? When you went into B-Cap there, you beached twice, and both times you beached directly in front of battleships. The fact that they ignored you the first time, and the second time they had terrible aim. I mean, if that was if you were in a tier 9 battle with your Shchors, right, against very good players, game over. So there's a fine line there you got to work on. The other thing too is you need to get comfortable using that spotter plane, especially if you're going to invest the credits into the premium version of it. I know it sucks having that aim up thing, but I think it definitely gives you some added vision. And, with practice, you can get really good with that. It took me a long time to practice with it, and I'm still learning it. But what helped me, too, was looking at the different crosshairs. And I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I think it's like Type 8 or Type 9. It's the spider one, the white spider one. That one I find is very helpful from either view. So I've been using that to pretty good success, and maybe that's one to consider investing some time into. All around, though, I want to say it was fun to watch. This was a much better replay. There's some great some great things for you to learn on. You did some really good things too. APing into the side of battleships was good. Your AP into the Kirov was good, except your initial aim was off, and therefore it kind of cost you that kill. But definitely learning when to switch to AP, when to switch to HE. You're working on it. You got a little bit more to go with that. And the other thing too is, I don't know if you've got that IFHE skill, but if you do, generally speaking, then you want to err on the side of using more HE than AP. Kind of the opposite of what you were doing. You seem to be erring more on the side of AP than HE. So. And the other thing too, priority target would come in really handy for knowing if you're being targeted by those battleships and stuff, or if you're safe. And then the last thing is just keeping an eye on positioning and opportunities to fire from behind islands, recognizing those opportunities and reacting to them when they show up, because they don't show up all the time very easily. So. Once again, thank you for submitting the replay, and to everybody else, I appreciate the support. Comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Send me your replays, and let's take a look at what you can do. So, and of course, what I can do to help. So, thanks again, and have a great day.